What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica, and we are down here, girl. I was thinking, I was like, should I do a live video? And then I was like, no, because I don't want to talk about the things that I've already talked about. What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica, and we are down here, girl. So I don't know what's going on. I need to look at the position of the planets and stuff because they've been, I've been feeling like, motherfuckers is trying. It's trying me. Feeling, oh yeah, we're coming out of a full moon. That's why. Motherfuckers is trying me. Motherfuckers is trying me. Okay. So I'm like, oh, what kind of test am I having? Y'all, do you want to talk about the unrequited friendships? Hold on, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk. Let's talk about it, baby. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, baby. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, baby. Let's talk about it. Okay. So let's get down to it. Down to it. All right. All right. So I have an outline because I wanted to make sure I have like all the things. And I don't know if I want to make this yet. Maybe I should wait for a second. I think I should. Yeah, I kind of want to talk about mess today. I'll talk about this another day. Um, One-sided friendships, um, unbalanced. When it's unbalanced, how to tell that it's unbalanced. Um, and then just some examples. And I'm like going through it in real time. Um, and it's like, I thought it would be harder than it is, but it's not because I have some tools already. But I think it's important to just understand how we experience people in relationships. And as we, I guess, grow and become more self aware, our boundaries get, I don't know, firmer. I was going to say broader, but they get more firm. Your boundaries become more firm. And I always use a video game analogy. I feel like when you are getting ready to go to the next level, you're going to be presented with a test that you have been presented with before. And how you answer that test tells you whether or not you're going to go to the next level. And so for me, I come down here and I share. I guess we're talking about it. I guess we're talking about it, girl. I come down here and I share. I'm very, very, very specific in the things that I share because sometimes, people out there, I can't see you, and some of y'all are just letters in a circle, and you share, you know, how you're growing. And I think this is important to share. Now, the last week or this past video, one of the past videos, I shared something about an interaction with me and my kid. And some of the comments, they just weren't nice. But it was, for me, it was a reminder, like, oh, thank you, I'm glad that somebody was out there who came with a judgmental, ignorant statement. And it reminded me, like, oh, that's why you don't do that. Okay, thank you for reminding me. Thank you, I really appreciate that, because it was like in the video game, somebody reminding you, like, oh, this is why you don't do that, and let somebody remind you. So that's, when we grow and become more aware, we're just how to cut things off, how to deal with things, um, how things become one-sided, You just become more aware, right? And you're always going to be, I feel like we're always tested. We're always tested. And it's like, oh, you want to show people how to, you want to tell people to protect their energy, like, okay, let's see if you, the teacher, right? And I feel like I'm always a student. So I feel like I'm always able to learn because I'm very curious about things. So when people offer advice, you can hear, the tone in which they give it, how it should be received, whether it's actually coming from a good place or not. I'll just put it like that. So some of y'all might have this. I feel like, as you are going, like as you're decentering men and refocusing on yourself and prioritizing your needs first, that comes with also energetically putting your needs first, right? And sometimes we can be in relationships that feel a little bit one-sided energetically. Nothing major, nothing bad, but on an energetic level, it just doesn't feel, it feels off. It feels a little staticky. It's not harmonizing the way that it should. And sometimes I feel like it's the people closest to us. Now you're being tested with the people closest to you. How well are you going to maintain your energetic boundaries? How well are you going to stand up for yourself if you need to? Or, back away from it? When are you going to let this go? And I feel like we're just tested all the time. So I do want to talk about how sometimes familiarity, time spent can keep us in relationships, friendships, jobs, stuff like that. But in this case, I'm talking about friendships. But in all things, we should be able to um, look at it and decide whether or not we want to continue to participate in it or not. If it is out of alignment with where we are energetically, if it's out of alignment with what our goals are, maybe we're not there yet, but you want people in your life who's in alignment with the goal, right? And so sometimes it's people that are the closest to us that will try us, and things don't have to like dissolve in a blow up. I think a lot of people um, feel like in order to dissolve things, it has to blow up. And then you feel like you have a reason to dissolve it. Sometimes it's just, I'll call you back. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. Cause yeah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Um, so let's talk about, I kind of broke it down because into the examples that are in alignment with what I'm going through. So I'm going to use examples that on how I was able to recognize it, right? Because when you're friends with somebody and you talk frequently, you share things frequently, you start to notice patterns, right? You start to notice patterns. And I started to notice a pattern. I started to notice several patterns. And I'm an observer, right? And I like to look at the pattern before I actually make a decision. I think about that, right? I don't know. I don't know. That's, I guess, I don't know where that comes from, but just to say, like, I need more information before I make this decision, right? And so, um, one of the things that I noticed was I felt like I was only being contacted when the person is bored or they are driving from one place to the next, and almost as if I was a filler in between that. Like, I don't have anybody else to call. Let me call Erica and she'll be available to talk to me as I drive from point A to point B. And for me, I started noticing that pattern because it was a pattern that my mom used to do. And my mom used to call me, and it was for her intentions were kind of to know where I was, to put like a red dot, like where are you, like it was only she would stay on the phone with me less than 5 minutes. It would drive me insane, and it would be sometimes less than 3 minutes, and it was almost like she was calling me to see where I was, just checking on me, you know what I'm saying. But it didn't feel like a concern. Like, you're not checking on me out of concern, you're checking on me because you want to know where I am, just like a control type of thing, my mom. And so when I noticed this, I noticed that I would get calls, and we would only be on the phone for a few minutes, and I would go back and look at the call log, and I'd be like, damn, we didn't stay on the phone. But sometimes we stay on the phone for hours, right? But it's just those times where I feel lately it was like, I'm only calling you when I'm in the car going, and or I'm calling you if I'm bored, right? um and I almost felt like I was background noise, I guess. Sometimes you call friends, and sometimes you have those friends that you call, and y'all are on the phone and not really doing anything, just like on the phone with each other, right? Keeping each other company. And that happens, with friends, and that's normal. I feel like that's something that's normal, staying on the phone a long time. So I started to realize that I wasn't being called to be checked on. I was just being called as like a placeholder between point A to point B. So that was one of the things that I noticed. Another thing that I noticed was that there was no real, like, I was always steering the conversation. Always steering the conversation. There was no real um, inquiry on how I was doing, how I was feeling, and you know, it was almost like, I don't know, it was weird. And I just like, it's literally, I just started noticing these patterns, and I'm just like, you don't even call me and ask me how I'm doing. You don't, you know, you're not asking me. You're not asking me like, how are you doing mentally? Like, you're like, how's your mental health? Where are you at with your mental health? And stuff like that. Um, Not asking about like, not talking about like what we're passionate about, or what you're excited about, what do you have going on in your life. It was nothing like that, right? And so it was just like, am I just background noise? You know what I'm saying? Like, what why am I here, right? um and then another thing that I noticed is that ev- it seemed like people that I took joy in, or even just mention, not necessarily took joy in the person. If I mention a, a content creator or a celebrity, and it was something that I like was laughing about, or like took joy in it. And you know how you want to tell somebody, let me tell you what happened with such and such and such and such, and then you're like telling the story, and they interrupt with like all of these negative and like a tirade against the person that you were just laughing about something very simple. It was always turned into this tirade of why you didn't like this person. Very critical. Like, I'm already a critical person. I'm very critical. I'm a Virgo, Sun, Mercury, and Venus. And so I'm very critical. And y'all know that. Um and so I don't mind when people criticize people, but it just seemed like every person that I took joy in, or was laughing about and tried to share with them, they always started talking super negatively about said person. And so it kind of took the joy out of what I was sharing, because it became all about, let me rag on this person that you just took joy in, maybe laughing at like a meme or something like that. And this thing where you mask your critiques with your just being real, and they come off mean, right? Because I feel like Virgos, I feel like sometimes people could say like there have been times where people could say like, oh, what you said was mean. And I feel like these critiques were they just came off mean. They just sounded mean. It just sounded mean and mad and angry. And it's just like, damn, I just mentioned them like, oh my God, did you hear so and so was down there cussing so and so out? And then it's like, let me rag on the person that you were just talking about. Like, I don't like them. And then start just talking shit about that person. Even people that I admire or are people that I felt like um, had similarities or something like that. And just like every single person, it was just it's very it became very weird. Like every single person, I'm just like, oh, I'll mention a content creator, and it's just like, I don't know, it was, I don't know. um Also, what I started to really notice was every time I was in a creative mode, they would actually um, call me when I was in a creative mode, call me when I was premiering a video, call me while I was recording a video, and almost was like tapped into my schedule. And I felt like it was a interruption to my creativity. And that was something that I was noticing, like, why is it every time I'm doing this, I don't know if it was intuitively or if it was like, I'm going to call to see if you prioritize me over your creativity. That's never going to happen ever. Um, and then like milestones, things that are happening. It was, I don't know, it was just, I don't know, it just got weird. And I just started noticing the patterns, and I was like, this is not in alignment with me energetically. I love this person, but I care about them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, this is not, it's so out of alignment, and it's so unfortunate because it's like, I tell everybody every day, it's, you have to move people around when they're not harmonizing with your, where you are energetically. And you need to be in harmony with the people around you. And if this person is speaking negatively about everybody around you or anybody that you mention, or diminishing your joy, like if I'm laughing about something, it was like, let me talk about the person that you're laughing about in such a negative way that it just takes the steam out of your joy. And like, why do you enjoy that person? And I'm going to talk so negatively about that person. Or like, there was no real curiosity about like what was going on in my life. um I was always steering the conversation, and I just got tired of that. Um, um, subtle put downs. I don't know. I feel like when you start to feel like you're lonely in a friendship, and it's just like you're the only one in the friendship. I feel like that's that's like the test. Like, here you are. Here's the test. What are you gonna do? So um for me, I've had to journal. To I had to allow myself to see a pattern, right? I had to allow myself to see a pattern and notice that pattern, and then take account of that pattern. And once you take account, now it's time to take responsibility for it. And um I had to admit that I felt it was not reciprocal. I had to admit to myself that it felt it didn't quite feel safe, especially where I am energetically, where I am physically, where I am mentally. It didn't feel safe anymore. And I I felt like I wasn't operating from a place of authenticity by continuously having my joy diminish, feeling like I'm just a placeholder in that person's life. So what I had to do, and what I've done since I was a young woman, I just start pulling back energetically. Even before I understood how I'm very sensitive to people's energy. And even before I understood that about myself, when it didn't feel right, I would always pull back. People who have been in friendships with me will probably say she just pulled back. We didn't fight, we didn't get into it. If she calls me today, we don't have any negative feelings, but she just pulled away. And that's what happens with me. I stop communicating what's happening in my life. So then the conversations become shallow. And I'm too old for that, right? I'm really too old to be in a shallow friendship where that we're not talking about things. And like if I would ask questions, there were very evasive answers about what's happening in the life. In their life, and I just felt like, oh well, I guess they don't want to share with me, and you don't have to share everything with everybody, and that's just what it is. But it's just like if we call ourselves being close, and I'm asking you just random questions about your life, and it's just like you're very evasive and talking, or even what I have noticed, just straight out say something that isn't true about what's happening in their life, and just like not tell the truth about it. I almost like to see what I'm going to say, or to see the response or the reaction. um, I also had to remind myself that people outgrow each other. People get into spaces where it starts, you start going in different directions. You're no longer like this. You're just going in different directions. And you have I felt like this is really like I felt like, oh my God, okay, this is happening again, where I'm going to have to dissolve a close connection with somebody because we're no longer in alignment energetically. And that's just real. And I have to protect my energy, and I have to protect where I am and where I'm going and where I want to be. I want to live a long, healthy, peaceful life of ease. And we come down here, we talk our shit, we crack jokes, we criticize, we send people to hell, we chop people's heads off. But with my close relationships, I have to take the advice. I have to take the advice. I have to take my own advice. I remember hearing, I don't remember who said it, but I remember hearing this quote a long time ago in my 20s. I don't remember who it was. I don't know if I saw it in a movie or it was a quote, and I could probably look it up. But the quote was, "My life works better when I practice what I preach," and it's very true. It's very true. Um, and you don't have to blow up. That's the thing. You don't have to blow it up. You don't have to blow it up, because you do honor, and you honor what you had, and you just release that energy with love, and you send it back. Just send it back. Just send the energy back and release it with love. And it's just life. That's just life. That's just how we grow. Um, if you are trying to figure out how to exit, you could just, I don't know, tell the person, hey, I'm going somewhere else, energetically, physically, mentally. And I need to be around people who are in alignment with that, and why, like I feel it in my heart and in my gut. I feel that we're in harmony and we are energetically aligned, and you are in support of my goals and dreams. But do you even know my goals and dreams, right? Do I know yours? You know what I mean? And it's just like, I don't know. And it just really got, I don't know, it just really got real, it just got really bad. And it was just like, if you ever talk to a person and they're like, you know what I hate, 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 you know what I hate. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a lot. Oh no, I know, like there's things that I hate too, but it's like every time I also hate this, I hate this, I hate this. And then there started to be this thing where like they were wishing death on just random people. And that was, to me, that was what really, for me, it was, that was what really was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can't, this is a lot. It's actually too much for where I am right now. And wishing death on people because they disagree with you, um like wanting them dead, like, and this person hasn't harmed any children or vulnerable people. This person just has a different opinion than you. You want them dead. You want them dead. You want them to take themselves out. And I don't know. It was weird. The vibe, the energy behind those statements they just didn't, they weren't energetically aligned. And that's just what it is. Um, and then what I did have to remember was like, you know, I can't hold myself back from moving forward if I'm holding on to what isn't aligned to me energetically, right? I can't move forward. They always say when you let go of some person, anything, a job, if you let it go, it allows something that is in alignment with you to come into your space. And sometimes you have to let it go in order for you to pass the level and for the next door to open. And it's like you're on this level and there's something that you need to do, and that is dissolve things that aren't energetically aligned with where you need to go. And so you have to dissolve those things. They don't have to blow up. For me, the way I do it, I just pull back. I just pull back. I pull back. um so you could share, you could, I guess, share with me like how you feel about that. What patterns did you notice in a friend that you had to let go? um how did it make you feel? Did you feel guilty? Did you feel like you needed to hold on to it? Like, again, I think familiarity is what keeps people holding on to things long after they're expired, and you just have to remember to do that. um let's see what I think we can do, and ways that we can, how do you honor yourself? How do you show that you honoring yourself? Again, just dealing with things that are not in alignment with you and dissolving that, cutting the cord with that, right? If you got to do a cord cutting ceremony between you and that person, the full moon is a perfect time for that. A full moon release, to cut cords, write it down on paper, and release them with love. And maybe when you are energetically aligned, you'll come back together, you know and I think some things to ask yourself when you are trying to come to terms with something that could be coming to an end is, how do you feel after you're done talking to them? How does it feel in your body? How does it feel? You know, are they are the interactions that you're having with the person, do they leave you tired? Do they leave you drained? because what I did notice is that why, when I'm in my creative mode, I'm making videos, I'm premiering a video, and you call, right? And I literally had to I need to see if this is a pattern, or am I tripping? And I noticed it, and I was like, I don't know if they are doing that intentionally to see where they are where they are in my priority list, where they fall. Um, my gift and ability to talk and create and to inspire and motivate will always take a front seat to somebody trying to stop my creativity. That's my gift. I know. I just talked about us all being anointed. I know why I'm here. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what I need to do in order to leave an imprint in someone's life, a positive imprint. And I share with you guys, and you all share with me. Y'all send me emails in the comments how much I've helped you, how much I've helped you understand how to move out and prioritize yourself. And I'm here telling you, I gotta practice what I preach. I gotta practice what I preach and put the curriculum into practice. You understand? So if you had to do that, you can share in the comments below. Um, we are sharing these types of conversations are sensitive, so be mindful in the comments and being sensitive if a person is sharing. um, be considerate of their vulnerability. um, you can ask yourself, if I don't change, will the relationship change? Like, somebody has to change. And I'm not going to ask you to change. I have to change. That's something that I've also learned. I'm not going to ask you to change. I'm going to change. And that's what I'm going to do. I need to be in alignment with what feeds me, what feeds my soul, what feeds my mental, my physical, my spiritual. I need to know that I'm in alignment with the people, especially if I'm sharing vulnerable things about myself, sharing my life, sharing my goals, sharing my passions. If you haven't asked me what my passions are, what I'm passionate about now, what I'm into now, or you're not sharing with me what you're into now, I don't know. Um, let's see. Okay, so a journal prompt is one of the ones that I I would will do it. What I did is, how do I feel in my body? That's what I've always think about. If you read the book When the Body Says No by Dr. Gabor Mate, I actually was in a class with him virtually. I'd say about I want to say about 5 years ago, and it was so good. And that's how I found out about his book, because he was promoting his book. And it's about holding on to things that don't serve you, participating in lifestyles that don't serve you, and it manifesting internally in your body, and your body telling you, this is not it. Let it go. Let it go. This is, don't do this. And your body will tell you. You'll get a headache, you'll get tired, you might start, your throat might start hurting. You know what I'm saying? And your body will tell you. Your stomach might start growling, or feel a little hunger pains or something like that. And you're like, I'm not even hungry, but what's going on? And that's why it's important to be in tune with your body. Meditation is really good to practice being in tune with your body. What I do is sit quietly, right? Sit quietly, and then take a inventory, starting at my toes, the tips of my toes, my foot, the heel of my foot, my ankles, right? My shins, my calves, my knees, my thighs, my hips, the base of my spine, right? My stomach, right? My shoulders, my wrists, my fingers. I just go through and I just like a scan. I just go through and scan. And how do those things feel? And if you're still your body will tell you, right? And I think that's important to be in tune with your body, even on your physical health. That meditation helps with just being like, oh, I feel like this, in my knee. Maybe I need to go and, get my knee checked out, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You feel it in your body. And a lot of the times women, when in relationships, they hold on to things because if they were to express how they feel, um, you would be interrupted or gaslit or say that's not what it is. And like even in talking, just thinking about like constantly interrupting when I'm explaining or cutting me off or like getting off the phone really quick as I'm in the middle of explaining something. It's just it just feels mean. It feels inconsiderate. And I just gotten to the point where like there's one specific time where I was in the middle of telling a story, and right when I was at the arc of the story, it was like, let me call you back. And I'm like, were you even listening to me? There have been times where I felt like the phone was put down and I was like talking and I was like, hello. And then like, I couldn't hear the person. And then it sounded like they're back on the phone again. I was like, and in my head, I'm like, did you put the phone down while I was talking? Like, and not say like hold on or anything. It just felt really bad. Like it literally makes me want to cry when I think about it, because it's just like I'm talking, I'm sharing, and I'm thinking I'm on the phone with my friends, so I'm talking and I'm sharing. But when you feel like they have put the phone down and you're like talking, they're like, did you hear what I said? And like, yeah, I heard what you said. It's like, no, you didn't. It's just mean. So it's like wasn't in alignment. And the other thing that really made me feel bad was like things that I took joy in. If I was like, oh, I watched so and so video, and they were talking about, I'll just say they were talking about um, uh, Phaedra, and then it's like go just completely go off, not on Phaedra, but the person that said whatever it is that they said. It's like, why are you so mad like at them? And it's like this person didn't do anything to you, and they should kill themselves and they should off themselves. And it's just like, I don't know. It just got too much. So it wasn't in alignment. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to come down here and talk about it, because I always tell y'all to protect your energy and we can get through these types of situations together. And so I'm sharing with you. And um, it's something that I'm still working through. So, I did, you know, being with myself and, you know, um, thinking about just like, I don't know, like I can't change you. The person just has to change on their own. And that's where I am with it. Let's see if I missed anything. I think that's it. I think I'm done. I try not to cry. I'm just trying to be strong and not cry down to thing. Y'all can see me cry enough over the past couple of days, few weeks. Well, I cried the last week. Let me see if I forgot anything. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to be angry at the person. That's another thing. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I just need to be in alignment. And so it doesn't feel like like a blow up. It just feels like, wow, I'm just going in a different direction. See you around. You know what I'm saying? I see you around. Maybe we'll reconnect when the energy permits. But right now I'm just like at a totally different place. And that kind of interactions wasn't in alignment with me. And I felt it. And I felt it and I took account, and then I'm taking responsibility. So that's how it looks. That's how it looks for me. So it's just a new season. You know what I'm saying? It's a new season. and you just outgrow dynamics. You outgrow different dynamics. That's why you can't say things last forever, because they don't. And again, like I said, you don't have it doesn't have to blow up. It could just be, you're just energetically going different directions. And when it comes it back together when it comes back together, hopefully the person has grown up a little bit, matured a little bit. You have. We're all growing every day, taking account and taking responsibility. um and you could, I mean, I don't know. And sometimes you can let the person know. It just depends on their personality. Sometimes it's not, it might not be the right time, and that's just what it is. So that's all I have to say. So take care of each other, protect your energy, take account of what's going on. Gather your information before making a decision, and then make a decision that centers yourself, that puts yourself first. We are we are in mutually beneficial, reciprocal relationships that are aligned with us physically, mentally, emotionally. Okay. And that's what we're doing. And we're practicing that. And again, we're always going to be met with, hey, here's a test. You want to get to the next level? You got to do the test. And the test is going to look like something that you've been in before, but it might just be a different player. And here it is. Is this aligned with you energetically? You tell these people all the time to protect their energy. Are you protecting yours? I am. I am. So, send them off with love, do a cord cutting ceremony, um, or prayer, release them with love, and maybe you'll come together again on a different energetic level. All right, so take care of each other. Let me know what you think. Get down in the comments, share your story, share what patterns you notice. Share how you've gotten over or gotten past or gotten through situations with friends that you had to dissolve the relationship. I know a lot of women are going through that as they prioritize themselves and center themselves. And when they do decentering men, they kind of lose the friends that are around them, because those people are still energetically focused on something that no longer feels right with you energetically, right? So don't feel bad. Just send them off with love. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be a big blow up or argument or anything like that. For me, it was, I'll call you back, because it was it was it was just weird, and I was like, I got to call you back, because this don't feel right. It just didn't feel right. So anyway, so that's all I got to say about that. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. Peace.